here. Decided to do another little ride along to work this morning. I will probably have quite a few ride-alongs with my videos. Like I said, when I started my initial world premiere video, I'd like to ride and talk about motorcycles. You know, I've done a couple videos in my garage talking about helmets, stuff like that, but I really would like to just do this while I ride. So I want to talk about basic maintenance and specifically oil changes. Before we get to that, just a little bit about, you know, my ride-alongs and you know, why I will be riding to work so much. You know, keeping with the theme of my channel, Bagger on a Budget. You know, not only budgeting your money, but budgeting your time. So kind of twofold here. You know, as I mentioned before, I ride a 2016 Ultra Classic. I bought this bike 2 years ago. I did buy it used, gently used, and it was a pretty big purchase for me. I was currently riding, or I was riding an 06 Road King. I was ready to move up to something a little more comfortable, and my Road King was paid for, so when I took this on, you know, I didn't have several $1,000s just laying around to pay cash for this. I had, you know, a little positive equity in my Road King, but I did have to finance a portion of this bike, and I currently still make payments on it. So with that said, you know, for me, part of my justification was, if I'm going to make payments on this, it is going to be my primary vehicle. I do have an 05 Expedition that, you know, was the hand-me-down. It was the family vehicle for years, and it's now my vehicle and it's paid for, and I drive that when it's really bad weather or if I need to, you know, pick up something big or something like that. But for the most part, I ride this motorcycle every day to work, to run errands, and that's my justification for making the payments on it. So that's why you'll see a lot of ride-alongs to work. And also, you know, I'd mentioned, you know, budgeting time and time with my family. I have a fairly active family. We do a lot of other stuff. We camp. My wife has some hobbies that I like to help her out with. And the weekends, because we both work, you know, Monday through Friday, it's our time together, and I just can't jump on my bike and go off for a day. I mean, I do it occasionally, but I just don't like doing it. There's things I like to do around my house. I like to camp. I like to go to the beach. So, you know, this is my rides here. So that's a little bit about why, you know, a lot of this, you know, it may get to be the same thing, but it's just riding. You know, I ride to work because I enjoy riding. It's very therapeutic to me. So getting back to what I want to talk about in this video is basic maintenance, specifically oil changes. For me, when I first got my first Harley Davidson, you know, I would run to the dealer and I would buy, you know, Harley, you know, because I just wasn't sure. Everybody I spoke to, you know, buy the Harley Davidson Sin 3, get your basic stuff from the dealer, you know, and that's what I did. And it gets a little pricey. I don't have the exact prices in my head. I'll probably break it down a little later in this video. But that's what I would do for a lot of years. And then I started doing some research and, you know, said, you know what, I think I can get, you know, the motor oil a little cheaper. I wasn't a big fan of the filters because they're just so hard to get off, you know, that little area. And well, maybe I'll show that a little later on where, you know, I mean, I'm sure you guys are familiar with it, but it's just difficult to get off. So I changed up to the K&N filters, and I would get that at my local parts store because it has that 17mm socket thing on the end of it, very easy to get off. And I started running the Mobil 1 synthetic oil in my bike. Now I'd still go to the dealer and get my gear oil for my transmission, so I started saving a little money there. Well, recently, just looking on YouTube, and I ordered a kit off YouTube, and not YouTube, Amazon, and I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. So we'll cut into some garage clips here, and I'll show you what I got in the mail the other day. I'm not going to do an oil change tutorial. There's a million of those on YouTube, but I kind of want to talk about this oil and the thoughts on this oil. We'll see how it runs. I mean, I know people have strong opinions on motor oil. It's really windy this morning. I hope we're not getting a whole lot of feedback. And look at this freaking weather. I'm in shirt sleeves. It's like 70-something degrees this morning at, you know, 8:20 in the morning. I was able to leave all my winter stuff at home. It's fantastic. But anyway, getting back to the oil, I know a lot of people have opinions on oil. A lot of people, you know, use their dealer, and that's all well and good, especially if you got it worked into your deal when you bought your bike. That's a fantastic option too. If you're shopping for another bike, get that worked into your deal. I know they have different service packages, and you know, that's fantastic. You know, if you can work into the deal where they'll change your oil for a period of time or maybe the life of the bike. You know, for example, we bought a new pickup truck a couple years ago, and that was one of the selling points for the dealer is I get oil change for that truck for the life of the truck. And you know, that meant something to me. And it's a pretty big dealership, that, you know, an entity here locally that has several dealers. And even though the Ford dealer is about 30 miles from me, they have a Honda dealer right here by my house, and just because it's under that dealership name, they will do my oil change for me, so it's very convenient as well. So if you can work a deal like that out with your dealer, you know, that's even better yet. You know, me personally, I enjoy it. It's not hard to do. I mean, I'm pretty mechanically inclined, but it means am I a mechanic? But even somebody that's not mechanically inclined, it's fairly easy to do. And you do save some money if you don't have that dealer deal. But even with the dealer deal, you know, I've talked about managing time before too. You know, I haven't service done on my bike at the dealer. You know, you got to get it there, you leave it, you got to get a ride back, or you trailer it there. I don't know about the dealers in your area, but you know, a lot of people use ours, and it's a significant wait as well. So it could be a couple days without your bike. And again, this is my primary means of transportation. I don't want to wait 2 or 3 days for an oil change. So I choose to do it myself. Like I said, it's very easy, very cost effective, and again, it's therapeutic to me. I enjoy doing basic maintenance on my bike, and plus it forces me to become familiar with my bike, to give it a good look over, to check other things. You know, I found a loose shift linkage one time, you know, that I would not have noticed if I wasn't down there, you know, messing with the oil filter. That could be catastrophic when you're out riding, you know, if you lose the ability to shift gears. So it's little things like that, you know, that it kind of forces me to look at. You know, they talk about checking the air in your tires. I'm a huge fan of that. I blew that off for years. You know, they say you should check your air before every ride. Well, I ride freaking every day. So I didn't really do it, and the tires that I'm currently riding on, it's time to replace them. Now, I put a lot of miles on them. I did a Sturgis trip with these tires, and they're about, you know, 2.5 years old. So they're time to change, but because I didn't monitor the air pressure, they got scalloped. So right now I'm riding on scalloped tires, and I am getting ready for a couple rides this summer, and I don't want to be, you know, taking off on the road with these tires, especially if I'm going someplace where there's some curves. But that's kind of where I want to go with this video. I just want to talk about, you know, oil change, basic maintenance, get your opinions. You know, if you have a certain product you use, or, you know, a system you use to maintain your bike, please comment. You know, I'm not trying to knock anybody. Like I said, if you're the kind of person that has the dealer do all your maintenance, that's great. You know, at least somebody's, you know, looking at your bike. But, you know, myself, I choose to do basic maintenance myself. It is actually pretty easy. And just to give you an idea, I do know this kit that I ordered off Amazon, it only cost me like 70 bucks, which that's relatively cheap when you talk about, you know, a 3-hole oil change on a Harley Davidson. Now, I don't do a 3-hole every time. I do every other oil change, I do a 3-hole. And matter of fact, the last oil change I did was a 3-hole, but I'm going to go ahead and do it again because I want to use this kit. So, you know, like I said, I'm not going to do a tutorial on how to do it. I mean, I might cover a few basic things and a couple, you know, snapshots and things that I've found that make the job a little easier. But that's what I'm going to do in this video. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like and subscribe, and we'll talk about some oil, and hopefully you'll comment and share this video. Like I said, I'm new to this. I'm still figuring this out. I tried to get cute with my camera last weekend and wasn't too successful, so I'm going to cut back to basics. I am using used gear, biker on a budget. It's not the most latest technology, but I'm making it work. So like I said, hope you enjoy, and we'll talk to you guys in just a bit. All right, so back in the garage, and yeah, it's still messy.
So when I was riding to work earlier, we were talking about motor oils and some of my experience with motor oil and doing basic maintenance on my bike. So I'm going to show you what I got in the mail today, well, 2 days ago from Amazon. Now, I didn't realize that unboxing was a thing where you wait and you actually open the box, you know, while you video it. I guess kind of like a 12-year-old. When I get boxes in the mail, I want to open them immediately and see what's inside. So I've opened the box already, unpacked it, but I packed it back so you can kind of see how it's packed. So I'll flip this camera around and show you what we got as far as motor oil. All right, so here's the box. It came inside another box, but it was this box. It was nice and sealed up, and inside the box we have, start here, we have a quart of primary oil. Doesn't really say the weight on it. Maybe on the back side it does. Not quite sure. But it is specially blended for the primary. It is not synthetic. I was kind of on the fence with that, but I mean, I change mine regularly. I mean, I do oil changes every 3,000 miles, and like I said earlier, I do the primary and the transmission, the full 3-hole, every other change. So about every 6,000 miles, I do my primary and my transmission. So we got a quart of primary oil. We got a quart of the transmission gear oil, 85W40. Again, not synthetic, but heavy duty formula. I don't know if you're catching this. It's all made in the USA. I'm sure it is from crude and products from elsewhere, but you know, it's American product. That means something to you. And then we got 4 quarts of 20W50 synthetic blend. Those are for the oil change, and there's 4 of those. And lastly, down here in the box, packaged nicely, bubble wrapped and stuff, we have this high flow performance oil filter. Now, I'm sure this is made in China. Tells you what it fits. Made in Thailand. And it's chrome, which I typically buy the black K&N filter. But this one came with the chrome, so I grabbed it and pop that out, and there's the filter. So it has the 17 millimeter nut, if you will, on top for you to easily ratchet. Taking it out, it's all sealed up. So I mean, it looks like a decent quality. I mean, I haven't cut it open or anything. Maybe when I change it in 3,000 miles, we'll cut it open and take a look at it. And I'll keep, what I'll do is I'll keep the K&N that's on here, and we'll run this one 3,000 miles, and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison. So that'll be a pretty cool comparison, I think. So that's what comes in the box. 4 quarts of motor oil, 20W50, primary oil, and your transmission oil. Now it has a sticker on top, OEM protection, so whatever that means. So that's what I got. Now, the important part with this is the cost, the price point. So as I mentioned, I've done various, this is my first time ordering off of Amazon and getting this product, and I'll link it below, the link on Amazon. But the cost of that kit, which is the 4 quarts, primary oil, the transmission oil, and a chrome filter, the total cost on Amazon was $65.26. So how does that compare to what I've previously done? Now, your prices may vary. I pulled a lot of this off the internet because I wasn't going to run to the dealer and see what they had, but from what I remember, the prices are the same. So Harley has a Harley Send 3 kit that you can get, and it's basically just the oil change kit, and it comes with 4 quarts of 20W50 full synthetic, and a chrome filter. Now, that chrome filter does not have the 17 millimeter bolt, which means you need an oil filter wrench. And if you've done it before, it can get really messy, and it's really difficult to get to, especially when you have lowers and stuff like that. It's really tough to get to. Now that kit will cost you $74.95. Now, if you were doing a 3-hole, you would then need another quart of Syn 3 for your primary, and that's $12.95. And then for your transmission, you can either go with the Harley Davidson 80W 140 gear oil. That's $19.50 a quart. So if you went Harley Davidson transmission oil, primary and oil change, that would cost you $107.40, and that's doing it yourself. That's just getting the stuff from Harley Davidson. Now, our dealer here locally, he recommended Bell Ray transmission oil. So when I used to purchase from Harley, remember I told you earlier, I would, when I first started out in Harleys, I went and got all my stuff from Harley Davidson, and I would get the, the Syn 3 oils, and then I get the Bell Ray transmission oil. Now it's $11.88. So with the Bell Ray, we're still looking at $99.78. So big difference. So previously, that kind of rubbed me raw spending that much money. So I started doing some research, and a lot of people use different oils, and I settled on Mobil 1. Mobil 1 makes a V-twin 20W50 full synthetic, and I could get that at Advanced Auto Parts. So pricing that down, the Mobil 1 for 5 quarts, so that's to do the engine and the primary, $11.99 a quart, so you're looking at $59.75. Then a K&N filter, so K&N with the 17 millimeter nut on top. For a chrome one is $17.99 and a black one is $15.99. I would get the black, and then I would still buy the Bell Ray gear oil for my primary. So with the black filter, the Mobil 1, and the Bell Ray primary oil, I was still looking at $87.62. So with this Amazon kit, now it is a synthetic blend, and I'm not putting synthetic in the primary, and I'm not putting synthetic in the transmission, but again, I feel comfortable doing that because I change it regularly. $65.26. So with my option 2 with Mobil 1, I'm looking at a $22.36 different. Now that's before taxes, but still, that's a significant savings for me. That's a couple meals. That's if I'm on the road. That's gas. That's a tank and a half of gas. Camping for several nights. So that's a big deal for me, especially if I'm planning a trip and I'm getting ready to do an oil change for the trip. That's money I can apply to my trip. So again, it's just what I do. You may do different, and no offense if you do, and if you get the dealer to do it, that's great. If you use Harley products, that's great. I'm willing to take the risk with this oil, and I'm really anxious to see how this works. Now, I said I'm not going to do an install video, but I'm going to point out a couple things on my bike that I think are difficult, and little things that I've done that make it a little easier. So before I get into this, I don't think I've properly introduced my bike, and this is my 2016 Ultra Classic in Vivid Black, and I refer to her name is Newellahmay. So everybody, this is Newellahmay, this is everybody. So I figured if we're getting ready to get intimate with her and looking at some of her more detailed parts, I at least want to introduce you to Newellahmay. She's 2016, a 103 twin cam. I'm not going to get into the stuff I've done. Like I said, when I got her, she was pretty much stock. I've done some minor upgrades since, but we're just focusing on the motor oil hill, and we'll talk about things that I've done to the bike at a later date. So again, hopefully you're familiar with this. Like I said, the intention of this video is not to be a tutorial, but just to talk about some of the points of the oil change and talk about the oil. So right down there, as you know, is your filter. So I have a K&N in there right now. It's the black one. You see the 17 millimeter nut in there. So for me, it's super easy. I can slide an extension right underneath my toe shifter and get on that nut. Now, oil is going to run out of this thing. So they have a little thing you can slide under there. If you can buy it from Harley, a little piece of plastic, whatever. I take a piece of cardboard or a piece of plastic that I have laying around here. A Coke bottle works great. Cut the ends off, and you just kind of slide it around that oil filter. You break it loose, and then it'll drain down here and keep your drip pan underneath here. Allows you to lower it, to loosen it, let it drain out, and then once it's drained, you pull the filter out. You're still gonna make some mess. I spray a little degreaser in there and hose it off when I'm done. Let that drain out. So that's one of the things I've done. Now also, you can change oil on your Jiffy stand, on your side stand. I have a Harbor Freight motorcycle jack that was really inexpensive. I like to get the bike level and get it off the ground a little bit. That way I can get a pan underneath it. And then of course you have the 2 bolts. Now you also have the O-ring, and that's something that a lot of people think you need to get from Harley Davidson. So that's not necessarily true. I just looked. I thought I had some of the O-rings that I purchased. I purchased a little multi-pack of O-rings from a local parts store, and it had the same size as the one that Harley sells. And I've been using that for a couple of years now, and I haven't had any issues with it. And it's more convenient, so I don't have to drive all the way down to the Harley dealer. It's right around the corner from me, and I believe it is a little cheaper. I can't remember the exact cost, but I get a package of them and I have them, and the only difference is they're like a tan color, not black, but they work great. So I haven't had any issues with that. So that's just a little bit on oil changes. What I do, like I said earlier, what you do is you. If you prefer to have the dealer do it or take it somewhere else, or you just want to use Harley products, that's fine. But again, the whole purpose of my channel here is saving a little money when you ride, being on a budget. And I don't really think we're compromising. And I think back in my helmet video, I talked about safety. I don't really think this is a safety thing, because if you're maintaining your bike regularly, you shouldn't have a problem with the motor oil you put in it. It's made in America product. Can't be too bad, and we'll see how it works. If I have catastrophic failure, I'll post it and we'll know, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to be fine. So that's it. I hope you like it. I hope you subscribe. So that's pretty much on oil. So if you have comments, what you use, maybe something else, maybe a better place to get it, a better product, please comment below. But other than that, it's a beautiful day outside. Get out and do some riding. Y'all be careful. Y'all be safe. Keep the shiny side up, and we'll see you next time.